Hello, darling. Thank you for joining me today for a little chat.
You're welcome. Nice to see you.
So, Shinea, you're part of the Global Network of Light. You're one of the facilitators that has come on board to share your gifts, and you host a beautiful little session called Embodied Alchemy. And this is run six weekly at the moment, every 6 weeks, because you're a busy mum with a business, got young kids, you run marathons. You've got a lot happening on your plate.
Yes.
But we absolutely love having you in there, and you've only run one session so far, but it's been incredible. So I guess tell everybody that's watching a little bit about the session that you run inside the Global Network of Light.
Sure. So the session that I run, Embodied Alchemy, is basically a guided meditation and energy transmission. So I'm a Reiki practitioner, and it's just guided on whatever the energy is at the time. So I tend to feel a lot of collective energy. So depending on what's happening in sort of the time in the lead up to the session as to what kind of needs to happen, the way the meditation goes. But yeah, the session that I ran the other week was really beautiful. It was a very grounding meditation, and the energy that everyone sort of felt and received was very heart opening and yeah, really, really beautiful. Yeah. So
Absolutely. There was a lot of yawning happening towards the end. And even now I'm thinking about yawning. But, and you said there's a lot of energy release, when we yawn and all of that.
yeah,
So that was quite cool.
definitely. Yeah.
So, yeah, well, it's really good to have you part of the Global Network of Light. So, for those watching who might not know what the Global Network of Light is, it's basically a closed online community where basically I'm just gathering lost souls. No, we're not lost souls, but basically people that are on a spiritual awakening and a spiritual path. It's creating a safe container for people just to be themselves
Yeah.
during the biggest global awakening we've ever experienced. I
Mm.
feel that we all carry this light of divinity within us. And when we connect with each other, we actually create like a web of light, which actually helps to stabilize the planet as we go through all these shifts and all these changes. And so inside the Global Network of Light, we've got live teachings, psychic mediumship development. We've got Inspired by Soul, which is run by Anne, who I chatted with a couple of weeks ago. We've got you, which is Embodied Alchemy, and we've got Jill, who runs a paranormal chat once a month. So it's a real mix of things at the moment, and we're almost at 50 members. And so, the more people that join, we're going to put more classes on as well. And I just find it's a really safe space for people to gather. And something interesting, one of the ladies said this morning on the roll call thread, she said that, she'd been looking for a mentor and a teacher, but she was quite hesitant in just allowing one person to mold her. And she loves how I've been able to gather all these different teachers who bring
Mm.
different perspectives and different experiences.
Yeah.
And she said that just suits her perfectly because she gets a bit of here, a bit there, which I think that absolutely makes sense rather than putting
Yeah, 100%.
eggs in one basket.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone has different, like all of us as practitioners or whatever, we all have different lived experiences as well. So we all have a different sort of lens and different gifts as well.
Absolutely.
And just yeah, it's so important to have different people be able to teach you different things. And you might take, as you said, this lady wants to, she's able to take bits from this one and bits from this one, and yeah, just
Yeah.
helps the experience as a whole.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your background, who you are, what you do, where you come from.
Okay, so gosh, where to start? Who I am? Well, do you want like job roles and stuff like that, or what?
What draws you to the global network of light? I think that's probably a good place to start because obviously, we connected. How do we connect? You found me on Facebook or something.
Well, so you and
Yeah.
I connected. So I came to your, you were doing a tour. You came to Horsham, which is sort of like half an hour from me, and did a like a show, like a
Oh, yeah.
Spirit Connections in
Yeah.
person show. So I came along to that. It just popped up on my Facebook, and I was like, yes, I came along with two girlfriends. We went to that, so I saw you there.
Wow.
And then I guess from there, I probably like followed you on Facebook. And then
Right.
I saw then I think I saw a post that you were offering readings.
Yep.
So then I booked one in, had the reading with you, and then when at the end of the reading, you must have said that you had this retreat coming up, and
Uh-huh.
you were like, "Oh, I'm looking for facilitators, someone to come along, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to come and do your Reiki facials?" And I was like, sure, I'd love to, because I
Yeah.
was actually looking at going to the retreat anyway. I think I must have messaged you, got all the information.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and then through the reading, you were like, do you want to come? I was like, yes, I'd love to. I wanted to come to the retreat anyway.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, came to the retreat, and that was, oh my God, that was amazing. That
It
was,
was pretty cool, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. So I had definitely been on a path. Well, I had a couple of, spiritual awakenings previous to that anyway.
Yeah.
But that was like just
That really blew you open, didn't it? And sometimes when I
yeah.
blow people open like that, I feel a sense of responsibility. So I felt like I needed to keep an eye on you and sort of get you under my wing a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. But it's funny because it was all stuff that like I'd sort of I guess I just knew anyway. Like
Yes.
nothing scared me. Nothing
Oh,
there was no sense of fear. It was just a lot of validation, I suppose.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not crazy for thinking that. Like,
Yes.
yes, that makes sense. Like when you were telling us about your experience a few years ago, that was just, yeah, it was mind blowing, but it wasn't scary at all. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I completely believe you. I understand you. It all
Yeah.
makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was crazy. That was amazing. And then
Yeah.
from there, we did another retreat together, however many months later.
I think, I don't know, maybe like, I don't know, was it a year?
I don't
Or
think it was that long. When was it? The first one was like June, I think, wasn't it? Was it June?
no, the first one, oh no, that was my first one. I've had three retreats.
Ah, yeah,
Yes. So yeah, I think the first one would have been June,
yeah,
and the next one I'm not sure.
yeah, whenever
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we did the second one together as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where I
And
really learned you are a wonderful facilitator and great space holder. You're one of the younger members that we've got,
mm,
the Global Network of Light, but age is just a number. Do you know what I
mm,
mean? Like, I mean, obviously there's a lot of life experience that comes through being a mum, and parenting and all of that. But also you've done a lot. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? I've forgotten.
I'm 35.
35. Ah, you're not that young. No, I'm joking.
Getting closer to
Um,
40.
you're old enough. You're old
Yeah.
enough. But yeah, you've done a lot already, and you've worked in the wellness space for quite a while. And I do feel that you just have these beautiful natural healing abilities. And I know that during both retreats, we kind of went down quite a few rabbit holes to do with light codes and activation and
Yeah.
all of that. Like I feel at that time, there was so much of that knowledge pouring onto the planet, and we were really opening up to all of
Yeah.
this and really starting to feel just how much we carry inside us and how much we've got inside us to activate people around us.
Mm,
And I feel that you do that because you do sound healings and sound baths and all.
yeah.
So when you carry these codes inside you and you actually channel them through the sound baths, that's an incredible way to
Mm,
activate other people as well. Like a lot of people think it's just a trend, you know, all
mm,
that, but we are really starting to learn more about frequency and,
yeah.
how to, I guess, impact the greater good through the use of sound and frequency and connection with each
Yeah.
other. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with the sound bowls, how did you teach yourself to do that? You just taught yourself?
Yeah, I guess yeah, at the start, yeah, definitely self-taught. So I started introducing a couple of just the little Tibetan bowls into some of my facials, like when a mask was on.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget when I went years and years and years ago, I went to this beautiful little um, local shop called Gypsy Willow, and bought this sound bowl. I didn't even know what it was, but she kind of showed me and I was able to play it straight away. And she was like, oh, like not everyone can play them straight away. Some you got to, get the right angle and
Yeah,
whatever.
wow.
And I just remember I was able to play it straight away, and it just this real high pitched sound come out of it. And she was like, oh, like I've never heard it be so quite high pitched before. And the resonance when I played that, I just felt something and I was like, okay, well, I need to take this home with me. So I did that. This was years and years ago, and just always felt drawn to it. And I would play it. I didn't really know what it was, what it meant. I just knew that I felt
Yeah.
something when I played it. It was very calming. And it kind of just went from there. I got a few more little instruments, and it was all just very intuitive the way that it happened. And I just always went to what I felt I was drawn to or called to.
Mm.
Um, and then from there, when a couple of years ago, I went on a girls' trip to Warrnambool, and we went to the mineral spas there, the like outdoor thermal spas. That was amazing. And there was a guy there, um, Dan Byrne. His business is Cymatic Harmony. He's an incredible sound healer, and he was there for like a one-off thing, doing like going around the bar, sitting there with like the handpan and
Wow.
bowls, and I just, oh my God, my soul was like, yes, this is sort of where you need to go. Like you're here for
Yeah.
this one session that he's here for. You need to lean into that. So he gave me like this mini sound bath, and oh my goodness, it was amazing. And it just
That's
just
incredible.
just kind of went from there. It just, yeah. And
What
then
a place to do it.
it was amazing. It was so good. It was
It
so
would have echoed too, like in the little caves and stuff, because I've been there
yeah,
years
yes.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went for the night session too. So it was dark.
Oh, how divine.
It was amazing. And then literally from there, then I was just sort of doing a bit of research about the crystal bowls, and I got them and I thought I'll just sort of have a bit of a play around myself, and I'll just see. I'll see if it's
Yeah.
something I feel like I can learn, can do something with. And yeah, when I started playing them, it just flowed, I guess. And
Love that.
it's just gone from there. So now me and a girlfriend who has done her sound healing course as well. We do meditation and sound sessions once a month in our local community, and we've got quite a vast variety of instruments.
Incredible.
Yeah, we've got a couple of
Wow.
gongs, the crystal bowls. We've got some wind chimes, some seed rattles, um, wave drums, rain sticks,
Amazing.
forks. It's beautiful, and the sessions are amazing. Group work is
Yes.
helps. Yeah,
You
it's
offer
really.
those sessions one-on-one as well, or not?
What's that? Sorry.
You offer those sessions one-on-one?
No, well, not yet. Not to the degree with like all of the instruments that we've got,
Yeah,
but
that was tricky.
myself, like in my like salon, yes, but
Yeah.
not one on one with all of the instruments. Yeah,
Wow, amazing. Because I guess we haven't really mentioned that you are a beauty therapist by trade.
yeah, yeah,
That you would
yeah.
have started that off without all the Reiki and all of that attached, and then all the
Yes,
Reiki and the sound came a bit later.
yeah, yep. So when I started in beauty, like when I started actually working in a salon once I finished my training, I always loved the like more spa treatments. I loved doing the massage. I loved doing the facials, and I was always had people that would come to see me and then they'd want to rebook with me. And I just felt, I guess very intuitively, it was kind of, I was doing energy work anyway
Yeah.
without putting a label on it, without having, done Reiki or anything like that. And I could always sense when people were sad, and I could always sense when people didn't want to talk. And I remember my teacher saying something to me that when you're doing a massage on someone, pretend like you love them. And I remember I would always, and I still do to this day, always do that. Like you're
Oh,
doing what I do with a lot of love and compassion and almost, I guess you would say, like sensuality in a way without being
yes.
sexual, um,
Mm,
because people crave human connection and human touch. And even, the wives that come in, for example, they're not getting that kind of physical attention from, say, their husbands, like it's different. It's touch and connection without any
yes.
attachment, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally makes sense. Totally makes
Yeah.
sense to
And
me.
it's just that I'm just here to, yeah, hold the space for them, help them relax and regulate their nervous system, and wherever they are in that moment, sort of meet them where they are,
Yeah.
with no expectations.
That's beautiful, darling. I just
Yeah.
had a little flashback to the second, oh no, it would have been the first retreat that you
Mm-hmm.
came to,
Mm-hmm.
and possibly the second one too. But I think around that time, light language started getting a bit activated with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You
But yeah,
ever,
the first one, the first
you were
one,
the first one, that's right.
second one as well with the first one. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Um, because light language, for those that don't know what it is, how would you describe it?
So the way I would describe light language is, well, it's not a language per se because you can't translate it to anything. It's just a frequency, it's a resonance. So when you hear it, you feel it. So you can
Hmm.
either feel it in your chest, in the heart space, or you can feel maybe it's a very mothering type frequency, or it's a very, just, they're all so different.
Yes.
Yeah, it's it's
Yeah.
it's hard to explain what it
It
is.
is really
It doesn't
hard to
relate to
explain.
anything, but it's a frequency, it's a resonance.
Yeah, it's a frequency, and I wonder if it's like language of the stars and the different star systems.
Mhm. Yep.
Because I remember Esther
Mm.
at the first retreat, and she just blew us all away. We were like floored because she did us a sound healing and sound bath, and then she went into this light language activation,
Mm.
and I was just absolutely floored because I could hear like about six different, I guess, star beings or entities come through her.
Mm. Yep.
And it was phenomenal because they all carried their own frequency signature.
Yep.
And the shifts we all felt post retreat, I don't think we'll ever forget, really.
No.
Just how that felt. That dog's barking for a treat, and he's already had a whole one. I'm not giving him another one because he'll get too fat like last time. So we'll have to he's just glaring at me, sitting in the kitchen, just staring at me, giving me eyeballs. Check it out. So when you're doing the sound healings, in your community, have you ever done a little bit of the light language in front of them?
No, it's never come through as of yet in the community sessions. It's come through a few times when I've been doing Reiki
Wow.
for some people, yeah. And sometimes it's even come through like not as light language coming out of my mouth. It's almost like it's coming into my head and I'm kind of like doing it in my mouth. I
Yeah.
don't know whether it's like still a healing thing, but it's just not the sound portion of
Yes.
it. I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
any
No,
sense.
I do. And I think it's still very unknown.
Mm,
What I mean, and I know that there is a lot of bullshit out there and that sometimes people can pretend to do it. I can see straight through it.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I think
yeah,
the fact that it's just, because I know that you're genuine. Do you know what I mean? And I just know. And I think sometimes, I don't know if this is true or not, but sometimes perhaps the humanness can get in the way of it coming out more fully because the
yeah,
logical mind is overthinking.
Yeah.
about
Yep.
it. And I think part of the healing journey is processing all of that and working through that logic and then clearing that channel to allow it to flow through more clearly.
Yep. 100%. Yep.
Yeah. Because I'd love to, attract that onto the global network of light too and get some light language activations happening
Mm.
on there. But the community is growing at a beautiful pace, and I feel the feedback that's coming in now is just so beautiful and so positive.
Mm.
And, I just feel that we are getting ready for these big changes that are happening already on the planet, but
Yep.
still to come.
Yep.
And I no longer feel the desperation of, fuck, everybody get ready. We got to brace for the
Yeah.
impact. Now
Yep.
it's like, okay, we've passed the point of no return,
Yep.
you know, we've just got to keep going and keep working on ourselves and,
Mm.
just take each day as it comes, find those moments of joy, but still be human. Recently I had an experience that I posted about, which got a lot of traction on Facebook, about not feeling welcome in a spiritual space. And then I've done quite a bit of reflecting on that. And because I love people and I love community and I love connecting. But do I have to actually go into a spiritual space to feel that? No, I can go anywhere. I'm like a chameleon. I can fit in everywhere.
Mm. Yep.
And perhaps that's where I'm needed, is not just in a spiritual space, but I'm needed elsewhere as well because I'm quite outgoing and chatty and I speak quite openly about what I do. And people, I don't know why, but they tend to get curious about me and like, what do you do? And then I go, oh, I'm a medium. And usually my comeback is sometimes a large. And I sort of gauge their reaction because some people are like, ugh, but most people are quite curious.
Yep.
But they also like the fact that I'm not fluffy. I
Mm.
I've been doing this work for 17 years
Yep.
and I don't force anything. I just
Mm.
let things flow.
Yep.
Because I think there's a lot of pretense and bullshit around this work as well. And look,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Bailey, and I've been I've been known to can a reading,
Yep.
if it's not flowing, because I'm not going to push shit up a hill, but it'll be gently done, of
Yep.
course.
Yep.
Um, but most of the time it works these days. And I do love working with people, but my favorite thing is to be inside the global network of light and just watching that unfold. You've still got to make it to one of the medium sessions.
Yes, I know. I know.
But I know you're very busy.
Not enough hours in
Um,
the day.
I know. Is there anything else you'd like to share about anything, about your journey?
I guess probably a huge part of my journey, like a real turning point for me was when I had my daughter. Um, so she is 3.5. But when I had her, like I had a completely normal pregnancy, all of that, like textbook, all going well, went in for a planned C-section and I had a cardiac arrest. And I remember the last three compressions, like I had an out of body experience. And then was thinking to myself, I'm not dying today. Like I've got two kids, like, and I haven't met this
Yeah.
child yet. Like, so I remember coming back into my body and receiving the CPR. And yeah,
No,
that was a huge,
that's
yeah, that was a huge, huge, huge thing. I then, after that, obviously had a bit of PTSD from that experience. And then, like, the care or the lack of care that I received after that whole ordeal, I had to do a lot of healing. And I basically, at the end of all of that, there was no explanation as for what happened to me, why it happened to me. And I deep down I knew, but I definitely know now that it was a huge wake up call for me. I wasn't living in alignment with who I was meant to be. Like I'd had, as I said, years and years ago, like I'd had a couple of spiritual awakenings and, I'd sort of go down that path and
Mm.
follow it a bit, but then I'd try and like push it down or like step away from it.
Yes.
And then something would happen and I'd come back to it again. But I think what it was I had stepped so far off the path. It was like, no, this is like
Wow.
it's your time. Like, wake up. I actually had a Reiki session with a beautiful woman who does spinal energetics as well.
Yeah. Well,
um,
well,
maybe like 6 or 8 months after I had my daughter, however long after. And this was the first time I'd met this woman. And she said to me, she's like, this is so bizarre. I've never seen this before. But Archangel Michael is here handing you, like, he's here handing you a contract. Like, he's
wow.
handing you a contract. And she's like, it's basically like you're being told, like, this is what you're here for. This is what you signed up for. And I was like, yes, that makes sense. And that was such a big point of validation for me. It was like
Wowzers.
I knew that deep in myself, but to have that like confirmed and validated
Yeah.
was just, yeah, it was like, okay, yeah.
That's insane, darling.
Yeah.
So, I would want to know a little bit more what you actually remember about the out of body experience. Because it's a near-death experience. That's actually what happened.
Yeah. Well, I guess I feel a bit jibbed off. Like I don't remember. I didn't have any visuals, but all I could remember is just this insane feeling of just peace and love. Like there was no fear. There was absolutely no fear. It was beautiful.
Wow.
It was just peace. It was love. But then as I was like, I remember, I guess, my higher self being like, no, this is not your time.
Yeah.
I'm not dying today because you've got 2 kids. And
Wow.
yeah. And then I just remember like coming into my body and they were about to intubate me. And I was like, don't do that. Please don't do that. I wasn't speaking. I was, yeah. But yeah, it was a crazy experience. And they were all baffled too. Like it had never happened to them. And yeah, but yeah, that was a crazy, crazy,
Yeah.
crazy time.
And so did that actually, so you mentioned a bit of lack of care
Mm,
afterwards. So we all know that happens, unfortunately.
mm, mm.
And so did you feel like you were sort of just left to
Yep.
process everything yourself without having any help
Yep.
or any
Yep.
understanding from somebody that got it? You see, that's what happened to me after my experience 2 years ago, where
Yep.
nobody got it. Like I was reaching out to mediums to try and help me, but of course I didn't have money, which is another
Yep.
reason, I'm doing the global network of light so cheaply. But I just needed somebody to validate my experience
Mm,
and to help me feel like I wasn't going crazy. Do you know
yep.
what I mean? But I know now, looking back, that these experiences like we've had, they're quite out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people that get it unless
Yep.
they've experienced it themselves,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
do feel very similar to you. Sorry, Bailey, you're going to have to go down, darling. Very similar to you, where I needed that wake up call. It was a wake up call,
Mm,
because of so many different factors.
yeah.
But ultimately, because of that experience, which I say literally breaking out the matrix, where I realized our world is like a computer program. Fuck
Yep.
me, excuse my language. And I realized that, wow, I hold a lot more power, and as a collective, we hold a lot more power to change the trajectory of our world. And it's up
Mm,
to me to make those changes. I can't look to outside sources anymore. Like I have to do
yep.
the work and I have to drop the masks,
Yes.
and it was a really humbling experience
Mm-hmm.
because I literally got stripped back to nothing.
Yeah.
But like your experience, I had no framework
Mm,
for it and
yeah.
not a whole lot of support because the medical system, like the psychiatry system, the mental health system, they wouldn't work with me because I refused to be medicated. So I remember having an online session and they were like, are you medicated? No. All right, sorry, can't work with you. The whole thing took like about a minute and a half. And I was
That's
just like,
so terrible.
wowzers.
Mm,
Whereas, I think had the proper support been offered, but that's the thing, our systems are just not geared for it. And that's why, and
mm,
the reason the global network of light exists is to help people through these massive experiences which are incoming. Like I
Yeah.
feel what I experienced 2 years ago and perhaps what you experienced as well, people will be having a lot more of these experiences and going, fuck, and
Yeah.
just feeling fucking mind blown.
Yes.
And at least I now know that I've experienced it, and I can validate things for people. And
Mm,
I think we're going to see it on a bigger scale.
absolutely. And because
Yeah.
there's one thing, like obviously psychology, psychiatry can be very helpful to help
Yes.
people like I know, and you did as well. We've both done some EMDR
Yes.
therapy to help us process those traumas and all of that. And talk therapy can be very helpful, but there's so much that through the global network of light that we can validate, that we can understand, that people need, that isn't part or isn't accepted in
Yes.
normal, like psychological, settings and stuff like that. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, I suppose a lot of the experiences that, we've had, you'd be put in a basket and called, crazy.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And I do
That's
feel,
that's not real. Like,
yes,
it's like, no,
absolutely.
it is real. It's
Yeah,
absolutely real. And
100% real.
the beauty of, yeah, the global network of light is it's a safe space. And yeah, no matter what you've experienced, nothing's too crazy.
Nothing's too crazy at all,
Nothing's too
you know,
crazy.
and it's really interesting to see different aspects of people's journeys,
Mm,
and what draws them to the global network of light.
yeah.
But it's a lighthouse in a storm, basically, because we're in a shit show at the moment. We all know that. It's a storm, it's raging, but I feel safe and I feel contained, and that's what I want for the global network of light, for people to feel that safety, and that
Mm,
sense of connection and validation too,
yeah.
because I just can't believe some of the shit on social media and in the
Mm,
media itself. Like it's quite laughable, actually, but the most joyful thing is people actually waking up to it.
yeah.
But I think it's a good test to see how awake people are, because I do believe there's that big event coming,
Mm,
that's really going to test, you know, our levels of perception.
mm,
And yeah, I think we're going to just have a whole lot more people standing up and going, right, it's not that way, darlings, it's this way. Let's go.
yeah,
So we'll see. I
absolutely.
don't want to say too much on it because I don't like focusing on it too much.
Yeah.
But I've had to, I guess my abilities in the last 2 years have just really exploded. Like I thought they were pretty strong, but now they're really fucking strong. And so I've
Mm,
had to almost integrate that, so I don't
yeah.
lose my fucking shit completely.
Yeah.
And so I feel a lot more grounded now, because yeah, I guess the future insight, I've had to shift a lot of my perspective around the conditioning I've had,
Mm,
fearful conditioning, whereas now I see it, well, it's a necessary step in our evolution, to go through this planetary healing together.
yeah.
Because for our world to survive, the truth needs to come out.
Yeah.
And we will all be shifting towards greater levels of truth, for ourselves and for the planet. And once we can accept all of that, we get to guide others,
Mm,
as well. And then I think we survive. I think the planet, I reckon 20 years from now, our planet's going to be so different. Like
mm,
there's a lot of fear on the planet now about, digital ID and
mm,
all this AI stuff. But actually, we can't avoid it, but we
yeah.
can influence it. A
Yes.
lot of people say, oh, AI is so bad, this, that, and the other. It's actually not. It's as
Mm,
bad as the person using it and the person programming it.
yeah.
So why don't we program it for the better? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Our consciousness can influence artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And so we've got to consider that, perhaps we're getting influenced by the negative side of things. Because, of course, there's the dark web, light web, all of that. But, let's use it for the greater good. And perhaps, and I don't mean sitting on it all day, but yeah, just influencing it in a positive manner, But yeah, we can't really avoid these times coming. But I think just grounding ourselves, getting out into nature, connecting with community, making music, dancing,
Yeah.
all of these things. As if we switch off the TV, if we switch off the radio,
Hmm.
we switch off the internet, we're not going to have a fucking clue about what's going on out there.
No, that's right. And it's the whole, where your focus goes, your energy flows. So it's like if you constantly think, oh, I'm having a shit day. Oh, this has gone wrong. This is bad. This is bad. Well, that's exactly what you'll experience. Whereas if
Absolutely.
you flip the perspective and you have gratitude and you find whatever it might be, however big or small, that you can find the positive in, then you'll experience more of that. So the more
Yes.
you feed into the distractions like the mainstream media and all the shit on social media,
Mm,
then like that's exactly what you'll experience, like the left versus right, just that division, the division
absolutely.
and the fear. Like the more you feed into that, the more you'll experience of that.
Yes, indeed, darling. Well, it's
Yeah.
been a very enlightening chat today. Thank you so much for bringing your beautiful vibes to the Global Network of Light. We really love having you there. And, we look forward to your next session and, yeah, just to see what unfolds as we move through the coming times. And just thank you for your beautiful presence.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me on today.
Pleasure, darling. And thanks for the beautiful chat.
Thank you.
Now, there you go.
Beautiful.